Hi, it's Hazel. Welcome to my channel. I am just showing you these pages in my art journal, which is a repurposed or an altered book. And I've been using it for the color, #color combo 2023. So this is the most recent spread, the burgundy and black one. I'm just leaving this here for the time being while I do a bit of an update. I have been away, away in the sense that for about 6 weeks or so, I have had either no Wi-Fi whatsoever in my office, or anywhere in the house for that matter, or have had patchy Wi-Fi that comes in and out, you know, like I'm connected 1 minute and the connection is lost the next, which is extremely frustrating and of course makes it impossible to do so many of the things that we do in relation to, number one, having a YouTube channel. Pretty hard to upload a video or update an Etsy store listing if you can't connect to the internet. So just about an hour or two ago, after a second tech house call, I now have a dedicated router, access point, about 3 feet away from my desk. So hopefully, God willing, and the creek don't rise, this will mean that my Wi-Fi problems are now behind me. So in the time that I have been away from posting anything or any visibility whatsoever, I've been keeping busy. The last week or so I've been under the weather, yet to figure out what the heck is going on. But as long as my stamina permits, I have been keeping busy. And I saw something the other day. Can't remember if it was a title to a YouTube video or what, but the expression was, if in doubt, collage. So I've been doing collaging. I have been organizing and cleaning and bringing like together with like in my office. The other day I tackled my ephemera, and well, about half of it, let's say, and sorted it into different categories, like what is ready to use, what needs work, what is just a base, what needs to be backed, those sorts of things, because the hodgepodge, the hodgepodge system of doing things wasn't exactly particularly efficient. Oh, this is the pocket that I did. I always do a page and an altered envelope. Anyway, that, it's amazing how much stuff there is. And I guess, you know, like with all of this maintenance type work, this organizing, this, you know, trimming, fussy cutting, gluing, pasting, all of these things, there reaches a point, well, I guess this serves a couple of purposes. Theoretically, it's supposed to make us more efficient. It also serves a purpose for procrastination. You know, if in doubt, collage. If in doubt, tear something, glue something, paste something. And it is a reminder that I think many of us have a lot of work that has already been done, and it's a matter of pulling it all together and either giving it away, bundling it and selling it in the Etsy shop or whatever. I did want to spend these few minutes kind of bringing you up to speed. I, again, will do my pitch here about subscribing, liking, commenting, sharing my YouTube channel. Same thing with Instagram. And having had this break away from talking to you, you know, there's a certain loss of momentum that goes on. I did want to show you a couple of other things that I've been doing. Maybe I'll just move this out of the way. And so Kim Newberg, has a what do you call it? Challenge going on called Arm's Length Art. So yesterday I was just doing some stuff, like, believe it or not, for about half an hour yesterday, my desktop was clean, and I could like see the wood. So it's been a case of dealing with some of the things that have been floating around. Now, probably any sane person would have thrown something this size out, but no, I covered it and I decorated it. These are little, what would you call them? I don't know. Anyway, it's an adding machine tape that I tea-dyed. This would be glued down to a page, meaning that this could open up and be something to write on. So I did a little embellishing on top. This was just a little, journaling card. Again, some of these papers and some of these things have been kicking around for absolutely ever. And I just wanted them dealt with. And, not to anger the recycling and reusing gods, I even threw some stuff away. Some small pieces. I'm thinking, it's insanity, to be honest. It's insanity to hang on to every small little thing. So as I went through some of my scraps, pulling what will be needed for the March Color Combo Challenge, which is a variety of blues and secondary colors. There are some things that I just threw away that I have had for a couple of years, that I have handled and rehandled and moved from here to there, and it like, enough is enough. So presumably I should be a lean, mean, organized, productive machine. A couple of bookmarks. This is a wrapping paper snippet that I had forever. Used a bunch of things just to call it done. And this tag. So those are some of the things that I've been doing. I haven't done, I can't remember what I told you last about my celebration of women journals. I think I did something to that, but to be honest, with so much time having passed, I don't even remember what I showed you, what is yet to be done. But to just make this a little bit more productive a day, one of the things that I've wanted to do a video on, but couldn't find all my component pieces, was making writing boards. So we know that depending on how lumpy and bumpy and embellished and decorated our journals can be, it can be a challenge writing in them because, of course, it's not smooth. So this is an altered Reader's Digest book that I'm using as my planner this year. And, without pausing anywhere for long, so what I did was, made myself a writing board. And let me just back up for a minute. These large pieces of, not pieces, but these large papers are ones that come out of those Walter Foster art books. So you know that they're a huge format and usually have some very attractive artwork in them. So I was trying to, deconstruct some of those and thinking, okay, what do I do with these papers? I have to do something. So covering writing boards seemed like the way to go. So one of the things that I did for myself was use part of that, you know, and I don't know whether with the light the way it is and what you can see on your home screen, this is actually done on a piece of corrugated cardboard. This is quite smooth. This one, the corrugations are a little more visible, but that doesn't matter because, frankly, when I turn the page to, you know, in a day or two, this is a very adequate surface for making the writing easier. This particular bookmark that I made for myself, this uses part of a page out of a Victorian photo album. You know, those really thick, well, double thickness pages with the holes cut out for them for photos. And in a video, I think I spent some time showing how I had taken one apart. So I used the decorated part of this page to make a bookmark for my own book. So what I have here are some examples of ones that I've made. And again, I wanted a nice, neat, wrapped edge. So I basically have a front and essentially a back. So you can probably see a little bit of a ridge around here and some waviness. Now, that doesn't bother me, and it's not going to interfere with the ability to use this as a writing surface. But if a person wanted it, you know, totally smooth on both sides, that would be easy enough to do. I had, in anticipation of doing this video, I pre-cut a bunch of cardboard because, of course, we know that if you're like me, you're saving every piece of decent-looking cardboard that comes along. So this one is 4 7/8 by almost 7. And it seems to me that I did this based on a Reader's Digest type size. Obviously, if it was a bigger book, a person could use bigger. Oh, and I see I've got a smaller one. I don't know if that was, you know, waste not, want not. If that was a scrap piece of cardboard or what exactly was going on. I also did this one 4 3/4 by, well, almost 11 3/4. Because with so many of the, what are we calling them? Document size? You know, where the page is turned vertically instead of horizontally. So it's a tall, narrow journal that a lot of people are working on lately. And I too have one of those on the go for my Celebration of Women journal. Anyway, let me show you a few more samples. And so, as I said, this is Walter Foster art paper. This was a scented shelf liner. And you can see I have the edges quite nicely done. This one seems to have adhered. Was that a pencil mark? This one seems to have adhered better than, I don't know what that is. And of course, the whole idea here is that you don't embellish it because that defeats the purpose of a nice smooth writing board. This, I think this was scented drawer liner, so I love that little pattern. This was using one of my digitals, basically just a textured background that a person could use as a base for, you know, creating a page or whatever, doing a project. Some music paper. And again, this one I just wrapped, I guess the paper was big enough that I could wrap it right around and have a visible seam there. This was a page out of a, oh yeah, I love this book. It's a large format, you know, book that is just page after page of tables. Don't know what it means. It's talking about latitude. Don't know. This was an index page out of a music book. And again, my seam is visible there. This was I thought, well, hey, who wouldn't mind writing every day if they had this guy to look at? Not too shabby. And again, my seams and everything are different here. I have better adhesion because of the way it's done. This was some really thin wrapping paper. And it had Merry Christmas or something on it. It was kind of done in bands. So I took all the words off, and I basically sort of fussy cut around the actual strips of, I don't think that thing is within reach. Oh. This is sort of what it looked like. And, excuse me. So I liked it. Now this has a couple of areas where I've glued it. Another scene. This came out of a book that had a lot of these oversized butterfly images, and I have several more of these pages. This is very smooth. I did this a long time ago, so I don't remember what cardboard. It might have been not a cardboard like this, but more like, you know, the really smooth packaging material that you get sometimes. And of course, I love this because of the kid's face and the colors. And this was a huge, again, really large paper. So basically, this is easy breezy. What did I cut these down to? This is just over 12 inches that way, and 8.5, a little over 8.5 that high. So depending on, now with a landscape such as this, of course, you know, your design is going to go horizontal. So I clearly, excuse me, couldn't put it on a format like this. Whereas that little kid eating out of that bowl, that was a taller, you know, the other format. So basically, I have enough here to sort of, you know, pick which images are going to be visible, to glue them down, to overlap them, to decide how to wrap them. And I will not, let me just see how much time has gone by. I do want to keep this video kind of short and sweet because, you know, even with 5 gigahertz of speed, it does take, you know, a long time to upload longer videos. So I think what I'm going to do is just basically, how thick is that on the corrugation would show. I guess what I could do is darken these edges with ink and just sort of butt glue them. There's such a thing as butt gluing, you know, like so, or maybe just a teeny little. I guess the other alternative, a person wanted a more decorative edge and didn't want to worry about, you know, the bubbling that's occurred on some of my pieces. A person could also wrap the edge with washi tape just to finish it off. I think for my purposes, maybe this one is a better image. Of course, there will be some cut off here. Excuse me. maybe what I'll do is just start applying some glue. I'm going to need a new glue stick, I'm sure, very soon. You know, even keeping track of all these glue pages is something. Because I had them, whoops, I shouldn't be moving that around. I had them everywhere. And the more places you have something, clearly the more the more likely you are to lose track of what it is that you actually have. Maybe what I should do is just a rough, what did I say this was? So almost 5 inches. So if I did this, say 10.5 or even 11, excuse me. So I can, what I'm just for the sake of getting on with this, I'll just remove that end. See, now the big decision, to save or not to save. To save or not to save. When I took sort of inventory and realized, excuse me, how many places and how many systems I have for collage fodder, you know, whether it's plain, wonderful pages for backing things, like, say, book end papers, or, you know, junk mail. I could probably safely remove. Trying to line this up and not have to pull out my quilting square. I want to leave less of an overhang than I did. Boy, this is like rocket science here. So if I take off an inch, that'll be good. My goodness, I can't see both ends at the same time. Okay. Don't breathe while I do this. Another scrap that could come in handy sometime. I'm only being partially facetious here. Okay. I think what I'll do is apply the glue to the cardboard and then sort of wrap it. This is the one that's almost empty. Oh, what kind of a Hercules tightened this? It was just me. Again, this all begins with, you know, boy, I didn't get much out of that one. It all begins with the glue application and how carefully a person does that. I can see from my angle where the shine is, excuse me, and where the dull areas are. I suppose I could have pulled out some matte medium. I really don't want to skimp on glue because having those bubbly parts is not really the result I wanted. I hope that you are well. I hope you're, excuse me, I hope you're feeling better than I have been lately. I was beginning to wonder if at this late stage in my life, if I was becoming a migraine headache sufferer. I certainly hope not. And, you know, some digestive things were going on. And I'm past menopause, so I didn't think, you know, it's not a hot flush kind of thing. But certainly there was a lot of, you know, chills, and then all of a sudden clammy forehead and neck and back, and, you know, not exactly fun stuff at all. To try to keep things square, I'm lining it up over here. Oh, I also reorganized my tools a bit, and so now I think that they're going to be a little more easier to find, easier to put back into place, and so on. I think another thing that I'm learning is that, you know, and I always did try that, is to sort of, you know, leave one's desk in kind of relatively clean and in good shape when you're packing it in for the night. I think this one just, again, I don't want this video to drag on forever. So I'm just going to not worry about the edges right now. I can easily ink them after I'm done and the glue is dried. I have so many things I want to do, so many ideas I have, and like I said, hopefully with the organizational and cleaning up that I've done, it should make it easier to get things done in an efficient, not frustration-inducing way. And get back, excuse me, and get back into a you know, a more regular and reliable filming schedule. Well, that looks good. So I think I'm going to stop there. I'll give this, excuse me, frog in my throat. I will give this time to dry, and then using a nice sharp blade, trim the edges, and then decide if I need to do any either washi tape or inking to finish off the edges. Again, it's probably not going to be visible. Nobody's going to inspect it to that degree. It's just a nice tool to have to make writing in one's journal more, a little easier. I'm going to stop there. I would, again, ask that you subscribe and hold me to my, oh, I should show you this too before I go. I had some scrapbooking paper that I didn't care for, so I cut some strips, or maybe they were in strip format, and I glued them together to make this little concertina book. And yesterday, again, using up little itty-bitty scraps, I kind of chose blue for this side, with this being the cover, and of course, not totally decorated yet. And then pinks and floral-y things for this side. How much more I do is, I guess, open for discussion. Oh, see, I didn't finish covering this. That was part of the background design there. I really like these little things, though. And I wonder if it's a little off kilter. Do you see how that doesn't exactly... Oh, I guess if I force it, it lines up better. Yeah, it was a really long strip. Let's just see what the overall length is here. About 22 inches long. Which, again, is just cute. The other thing that I that I did, oops, I glued my name. I glued these letters together for my name. Didn't intend to glue it to the board, and luckily it came loose. But yeah, in case you forget who I am, there you go. So you can see I did some fun stuff too, not just drudgery. Anyway, I'm going to call it a day. Please keep crafting, stay well, and yeah, the next video will likely be... Yeah, I have to get back to those Celebration of Women journals, so I have to... I'm going to check it out and see what stage I'm at. I know I did some ephemera. I know that they're all stitched together except the one with the wraparound cover. I haven't decorated any of the covers yet, and I have my work cut out for me, but I want to continue because they're important. And the other thing that I'm going to be doing, because I have and that's another thing I did while I was waiting for the service mat to come. Every time I have a scrap of paper, whether it's an inch tall, or this was a wrapper from a package of paper, I'm forever folding or tearing and folding into making signature pages. So I have gazillions of these little guys that I need to pull together, arrange. I also have dozens of covers, including, excuse me, including some slow stitched ones that, I mean, everywhere you go, I mean, everywhere you look, I have these little packets of things ready to go. So I think there's going to be a marathon stitching, binding episode coming up, because, again, having these things everywhere is not serving me very well. I'm losing my voice, so I'm going to stop there. Thank you for tuning in, and watch for some regular videos coming your way. Thanks. Bye.